Hello, welcome back to SnowRunner. It's been a while. I've been enjoying this region, the Kola Peninsula and Scandinavia. Just kind of thought I'd start it here, not really the subject of the video, but I wanted to show this off because everybody remembers this tree and how trying to get across it or go through this little muddy area. What Saber will do is they'll make alternate paths that take you out of the way. And sometimes they're easier to notice from one direction than the other. And one day I was just noticing this with the F-750, so I kind of wanted to show you a little alternate path. And while I'm thinking about it, let's see. The price of victory, you gotta go find this medic detector. You want to have this quest or contract active when you go to pick up the metal detector, because it doesn't actually advance if you pick up the metal detector and then go to a place and they think, oh, now I'll activate it. Yes, I found that out the hard way and had to drive back here just to get the point to progress the quest, even though I'd already found and mounted the metal detector. So just kind of a heads up there. But today's project, broken power station. Figure this will kind of be a multi-reason video, so here we're going to show off this alternate path I found. And I always love finding these alternate paths that they'll put in. And as you can see here, to avoid this icy section, I just went up the road right here that's highlighted, so you don't need chains for this section if you don't want to, and you want to save, bring mud, you can kind of go like right here. And then one other thing I kind of noticed recently about this area is if you cut between the trees and the rock, this part of the snow and dirt isn't actually too bad, so that's another alternate path. And there's one a little further down the road, but I haven't discovered that one. Basically at the triangle-shaped intersection where one goes off like this and into the island, there's a little part where you can kind of, like, just past it, where you can drive through some snow that's relatively shallow and not as bad. Anyway, I've just kind of had this idea, been talking about this idea of how do you make a map more challenging without resorting to either super terrain or an excess amount of cargo. Think like the level of materials you have to deliver in, say, the Yukon, for an example of this. Well, I kind of hit upon this idea. What you could do is you could put just kind of expanding on the idea of nothing's really operational that you see in Maine. By the way, I just wanted to sort of see, you can completely bypass this little mud pit of view by doing this. So nice. And just, you start the player with a vehicle, not the best vehicle, and then the idea would be through a series of 3 to 5 contracts, or maybe tasks, or a mix of the two. You get a garage functional enough or a place functional enough that you can bring in your vehicles, where initially you just have to deal with whatever the game dev gives. Not something as powerful as the Yard. The Yard will just laugh at this challenge, which is why I love it so much. It can really go places. And it's one of the few vehicles in the game that you can pull this full-size scouting trailer and not really have to care about what cargo you're putting it on. Well, besides the idea of not having this obstacle here in the first place, this rock that my front right tire's on, I wish it wasn't here. I don't know who put it here. It should not be on the main route, and I would also love if it was not here, because that would make this significantly easier for some of the other vehicles that are trying to use this as a main path. But anyway, Normally what I'll do is I'll also just bring in one set of metal beams. Let me put on the contract. Instead of having to get both from where I am, I personally wish that you picked up the metal beams here. It makes no sense where they put it. But the metal beams, it's essentially artificial difficulty, and now the trailer's caught on that rock. I didn't think about that happening. But anyway, just kind of something I've been toying with, like, say, depending on the region, you may start in the Con Loaf. Although I've been learning just how underpowered that thing is with its stock KR-104 engine, so I definitely give you the all-terrains with good mud and the KR-115 engine, so it wouldn't be nearly as bad. Starting, then maybe you find a small Scout flatbed that nobody could get stuck, the small single-axle one, which would be more in the pulling capacity of a lot of Scouts, and then you just have to make a delivery or two, and that could open up, say, a port or an airport, so you can bring vehicles in. And if you wanted to make it a multi-stage process, what you could do is you could say, well, the airport's good, but there's a limit to what can be brought in. So say you only unlock the highway trucks category. Just pulling here so I don't flood my engine. I don't have a snorkel. And the Scout category, and then maybe you have to get something heavier, like say a port done to actually be able to import all your vehicles. Just kind of is interesting to just kind of shake things up, just so it's not the same old. This, I genuinely got myself stuck here. Thankfully there's stuff to win between. Wait, I don't know that one. Anyway, and just kind of to give it its own unique flavor, so it's not necessarily about the quantity of the cargoes, but the little ones, and maybe you give the smaller trucks a chance to sign, like the TUS-16 Action, or the TUS-108 Warhawk, or the Ziggs 5368, or the Cody XC70. Some of the smaller trucks you don't see getting used often, or maybe even just you have a road network, and so once you build a bridge and clear a rock site, you have a path that highway trucks become viable, or early game trucks that aren't fully upgraded for delivering the stuff you need. There's kind of different interesting things I think you could do. And so I honestly just kind of wanted to talk about that, and just curious what people's thoughts are for making a game where that's not, where you don't have to worry. Oh, by the way, whatever you do, this is a Scout vehicle only path. Don't try to take the metal beams down this path. I tried that once when I first got the game. It ended badly. You're better off just taking this and taking the long way around with the road. And I just because they've done so many different things, and part of why I think they tried to see, well, people say it's because they were testing the car, and that may be some truth to that. But I think they were also just trying to find something new and interesting. I think farming, like they did in Glades, wasn't necessarily a bad idea. The issue was the bulk loading contract. It should have just been moving the potatoes from A to B and not having to farm them. And the same with some of the tasks that have you also farming. But I mean, it was a new mechanic, so I understand why they did it. But you're essentially taking a game that's about cargo transport and making it farming. I think that's the big lesson. Is don't deviate too far in a SnowRunner game from the SnowRunner formula. I'm having second thoughts about coming out this way, because I feel that my trailer would probably self-unload. So we'll take the other way, because there's another way out, so I don't have to come back this way, because I'm worried I'd lose my metal beams. Because look at how sideways tipping that is. This is... It's okay for coming in, but once we got weight on the trailer, I don't want it self-unloading, so... there's a slightly different way we'll take. You can do better with it in low gear. I mainly just opened the garage because originally I was going to shoot this video with the Loaf, but I need to install and upgrade the race suspension I found in Tamir and the KR115 to make that video work, and then I was going to have it maybe hauling either to the rock slide that requires fuel, which I understand they were trying to change it up, and it's one cargo slot so the new vehicles introduced can do it, but there's a little village if you go the opposite direction, and I think it would make more sense for just to be deliver fuel here to where the contractor or where the guy is that has the machine, and then they'll clear it for you. I don't know. I just like my immersion, and I don't mind challenges, but to some extent I do overthink things, and sometimes it's not exactly. Okay, let's see if. Now, I'm not saying that this will be trouble-free, but I think I'm going to take the metal beams down this way, and then it'll come out here, and we can go. Well, actually, I could go there. Oh, but then I'd have to go through here, so yeah. Or I want to turn left and come this way, and then come out this way, and that. Wait. And. Oh, that's actually right in time for this. How am I supposed to avoid that? Now, I guess I could kind of blaze my own trailer along the edge here. And then maybe? This rocky area, I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to try to get up here, but I guess that's one way you can do it. I think it's go here, and then probably go back here, and cut through here. And then the yard can handle this part. This shouldn't be a problem. And that will take us all the way down here. And the game developers actually left you the full-size Scout flatbed right here. Oh, and this fuel tanker is also here for your fuel refuel. Along with a fuel tanker at the airport here. Kind of getting mixed signals on whether this airport's active or not, because, I mean, on the one hand, it kind of looks active, and we got a helicopter here. On the other hand, somebody parked a tanker trailer on the runway, which doesn't make any sense. But I mean, I guess this could be like what I'm talking about, a small airfield like this to allow you to bring in some of your scouts and maybe some of your other vehicles that are under a certain tonnage, like say under 10 tons, so you can put them on a light cargo plane that can make a landing on a short runway, so it's not strictly category limited. I guess could work. I don't know. I'm just trying to see some ideas here. When I say going to get a trailer that other people can't, what I'm talking about is the locals couldn't do it because the local vehicle they tried it with, even if it comes in the game with all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, they have the two-wheel drive version and they have highway tires, or maybe they only have the all-terrain tires that are good on highway, and so they can't do it, and that's why they're like, hey, I haven't been using this trailer, if you can get it out, it's yours, and then you can just move some stuff with it. And just to kind of break it up, I'd love to see a version of this trailer, maybe painted yellow with a third axle, with what's called a pintle hitch, so the full-size trucks can take it. This is called a ball hitch for record. This is what Scout trailers use. Because that would be just so useful. Anyway, I think I'll just wrap the video here. I just kind of wanted to muse about that, and I wanted something going in the background while I did it. So thank you for watching.